Hey guys, what's going on? Ryan here with Southern Reptiles. Happy Tuesday. Just out here like any other day feeding some of my tortoises. These are some of my juvenile Redfoots. They're snacking on some banana, romaine lettuce, and zucchini. And you can see they love it all. They're going crazy. If you're ever curious what tortoises I have for sale, feel free to visit my website at southernreptiles.net, and that's usually the most up-to-date platform I use to show what tortoises are for sale. You can always contact me as well, email me through my website or private message me on Facebook or Instagram. So I'm out here feeding these guys. Let's see, cherry heads are, some of them are eating as well. And had a little bit of a surprise. One of my adult female Redfoots is digging a nest. Trying not to get too close to her. I don't want to disturb her. And you know, this doesn't always mean that this is the spot she's gonna lay. You know, sometimes they'll dig 3, 4, 5 nests before they finally pick a good spot. But as you can see, they usually always lay up against a wall on the perimeter of the enclosure. Why that is, I don't know. They just don't usually pick a spot in the middle or the center. They'll pick it on the side, and it's typical for them to lay at the base of some kind of a structure or a tree. Why that is, I think because usually the soil is pretty strong next to a plant. The roots hold it together, and it's usually dry next to a plant. You're not going to get a lot of flooding at the base of trees usually because the ground is usually higher. So yeah, you could see she's using just her back legs, and she's slowly digging down into the ground, and she's kind of shoveling the dirt up on the tops of her feet and dumping it to the side, and she's making that cylinder shaped hole to deposit the eggs. And I've had females sometimes take 2 hours to dig a hole, and then they give up, and sometimes they bury it, sometimes they don't. They'll just walk away from the hole and pick a new spot, and sometimes it's from hitting a rock or a tree root. There's some kind of obstruction that's not allowing them to go as deep as they want to go, so they give up on it. They're very particular. There's a lot of thought and planning that goes into their nest. They'll often walk around for hours, tapping their nose up against the ground, checking the soil to see how damp it is, how dry it is, and they pick a good spot based on that. So this is one of 3 Redfoot groups I have. This group is just a 1.4 in here. And that means 1 male, 4 females. And it's always a good idea to keep less males than females, because typically an adult male, like this guy right here, is gonna want to breed. And if he's breeding a lot and he's just picking on one female all the time, they're gonna get tired of it. So if you have 3 or 4 females, they each, you know, kind of take the brunt of the male, and you know, they don't get so stressed. So you can see here the nest underneath her. See how she's doing 1 foot at a time, putting that foot in, and she's lifting and shoveling the dirt out. And while she's doing that, she actually is packing the walls as well to make it a cylinder shape that won't collapse in. There's a lot that goes into the nest. They basically make that hole, deposit the eggs, and then cover it with what we like to call a cap of dirt over the top. And when the babies hatch, they have a little bit of room inside the nest. It's basically a hollow chamber. And then they push that cap and come out when they hatch, which is usually during a rainstorm. And that's why when it rains a lot here, I'll come outside and look around for babies, because being in South Florida, the eggs will hatch on their own, believe it or not. They can, I've had several species that they've laid eggs and I didn't know. I can't be out here at all times to find the eggs, and you know, I'm good at observing and telling when females are gravid, but I'm not that good that I can get every single nest, and I do miss eggs, and they incubate naturally, and during a heavy rainstorm they hatch out. I'd say the coolest species I ever had incubate naturally was the pancake tortoises in my garage. I missed an egg, and in the garage, I guess it was the perfect humidity and heat and everything, and the egg hatched on its own. And I went to go feed my adult pancakes one day, and I found a little baby running around in the enclosure. But for the redfoots and the cherry heads and my Florida box turtles, it's a lot more common to find naturally hatched babies, just because the South Florida climate for the redfoots is very similar to their native climate in South America. And obviously the Florida box turtles, they're in their home range, so the climate's ideal for them. So as this is happening, it's about 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. And this is the typical time that redfoots and cherryheads would usually nest. You know, it's not unheard of. Sometimes they'll nest in the middle of the day or early morning, or sometimes even at night. But usually right now, from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. is when they'll nest. As the sun's going down, temperatures get a little bit cooler. There's a little bit more shade. And that's when they like to do their thing. Not too hot. She's working hard. Typically redfoots begin laying in October, so this is a little bit early, but they can actually lay all year round. I'll get some that'll randomly lay clutches when I least expect it, but the heaviest laying time is generally from October into January, I would say. October into January or February. And she picked this spot. It's nice and shaded underneath the banana trees. She's got, you know, so it's the right temperature. Oh boy, we got more activity. Alright guys, well thank you for watching. I'm going to leave her alone and let her do her thing, and hopefully I'll get some eggs this afternoon, and I'll keep you guys updated on how many eggs she laid, and whether it's one or a few, we're grateful for any eggs we get. The incubation period is usually 90 days to 120 days. I've had some females that usually it's sooner, about 90 days, and then I've had some that their eggs consistently always take a longer amount of time, about 120 days. So it's different for every female. Alright guys, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be trying to post more content every day. You know, I'm new to this, so I'm just getting the ropes. And also, don't forget to check out my Facebook, facebook.com/Southern Reptiles, Instagram at instagram.com/The Southern Reptiles, and my website, of course, at southernreptiles.net. Here comes Darth Maul coming through. All right, guys, signing out. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll be posting some more videos soon. Have a good night.